Welcome to the Redvee TV Show, supported by Chapel House for the 2023 season. And on this week's show, Saints look to get back to winning ways this Friday evening against the Castleford Tigers. And Kevin is going to put his boots on.
Sorry, you completely lost me there. Putting my boots on.
We will get to it. We will get to it. The question is, can you play hooker? Because everybody else is having a go.
Oh, don't get me started. Everybody who watches us or even remotely listens to me will know that I'm not a fan of playing a utility player, we'll call them, at hooker. I think the role has obviously changed, but you need a specialist in there to give you that tempo, to give you that direction, to give you that know-how. And I don't think just because lads have played it in the in academy games and in their junior rugby that necessarily means that they should be going ahead playing there when they've already started making different positions their own.
Is it now fair to say that that experiment will now be over after LFC?
No, I don't think so. I genuinely don't. From seeing the press conference, it sounds to me like Wellow's not ruling it out. He mentioned.
To be fair, I thought from the post-match comments last week that he realised it hadn't worked.
Yeah, but in the presser that he's done, he mentioned about Knowles or Bell having to play there with Wingfield now being out for 16 weeks. It made it sound like that's what he'd do going forward. We've got three hookers at the club. One of them seems to be the forgotten man in Taylor Pemberton. It doesn't look like he's got a very bright future at the club. But I'd rather see Taylor given a go with the pack, first team pack round him. 20 minutes of a game, and we'll get onto the squad in a minute. I think this is a perfect game to give James Roby a rest, possibly put Taylor Pemberton on the bench, give him 20 minutes, see what he brings to you with a first team pack, and see if there's anything to work with there. As it is, Taylor's not in the squad, so it's going to be more likely we're going to flog James Roby another week, or it'll be Joey Lussick, who's been said to going to be back in the 17, and Morgan Knowles / James Bell jumping in at 9. I don't think it.
I think this week it's going to be Roby and Lussick. I think the only time you're going to see Knowles or Bell coming in at 9 is as the third choice. What I don't think you're going to see moving forward is Morgan Knowles starting a game at 9 again. I just don't think it worked. Squad then, Kev.
Yeah, straight into it. Obviously, Curtis Sirenen came off with a bit of a hamstring niggle, which Paul Wellens has said is only going to keep him out a couple of weeks, or hopefully just a couple of weeks. He drops out, as does Wes Bruins. With Mark Percival back from the HIA protocols, and Sam Royal coming in, so like for like.
Be interesting to see what we go with this week. Obviously, losing last week was, I think, the first in 7. And now we're losing that little bit of wiggle room in being able to lose games if we want to be aiming for a top 2 finish still. Obviously, some of the results did go our way last weekend, but you almost feel now that if we want to finish in that top 2, we're pretty much going to have to be close to winning out between now and the end of the year.
Yeah, I mean, you're right, to be fair. I think that's what it's going to have to be. Yeah, you're going to be able to afford to lose 1, maybe 2 more games, but you've got to go at this. And especially the teams, and it seems to have concertinaed right up the league, but the teams who you're trying to take places off, so you look at Warrington, Catalan coming up, they're definitely teams that you've got to be taking points off. You can't allow them to get any further away from you.
I'm liking it, Kev. Concertina, that is definitely the word of the day. Obviously, Mark Percival is going to come straight back in, you assume, at centre. If that is the case and T. Ritson is fit, you would assume it's going to be a backline of Jack Wellsby, T. Ritson, Conrad Harrell, Mark Percival, John Bennison. If T. Ritson misses out, does Will Hopewati deserve to retain his place in the 17, or would you prefer to see Ben Davies come in with potentially Conrad moving out onto the wing?
Neither of those. I would prefer to see probably, if Ritson misses out, Bennison, Harrell, probably Davis and Percy on the wing.
Okay,
that's what I would probably go for. Now, obviously, Will Hopewati has missed quite a few games for us in the past couple of weeks, nursing a rib injury, as we believe. And he'll be better for that run out, but that's what I would probably go with, just because Ben Davies has been getting a couple of runs out at Swinton, and he got a run out at weekend there for them alongside George Delaney. I think T. Ritson will play, so I don't think that's going to be a question. I think T. Ritson will play, and it might be the reason why we've not seen him in full flight and why he's starting to get a little bit of stick from not kind of going full length and finishing off tries that he's putting us in good positions for. That's possibly a reason for it.
Or the lack of ball that he's been getting.
Yeah. Well, even the ones where he's been going through and people have said, I thought he was really quick. If he's got a knee grumble and he's feeling it as he's going through, at least he's putting us in them positions. At least he's got the speed to do that. I know that, again, in his presser, Wellows mentioned Ben Davies and Will Hopewati as potentials who could come in who can play wing. I prefer to see Percy out on that wing. If needed be. I think he's a better option out there. And as we said in the instant fan reaction after Hull, I'd probably go with Ben Davies.
T. Ritson, Kev, it almost feels like he's now just become the latest whipping boy. It was Lewis Dodd earlier in the year. Lewis Dodd's put a couple of decent games in, so now it's moved on to T. I think people with T. Ritson, yes, listen, he was scoring tries for fun in the Championship. It was never going to be like for like in the Super League. But I think people are missing out. He's carrying the ball out defensively well. Yeah. I'm putting the meters in and coming into the middle to take his carries. Speed wise, I don't get it, because there was the one where that final Hull try, he made the ground up, yet he fluffed the tackle at the end of it, as we discussed on the instant reaction. But the speed is there. I just feel like he's not really got much of a look in. I think if he'd have been on Tommy Mack's wing, I think he'd probably have a good few more tries. It just seems like we've struggled to get him into games. But defensively, he's been pretty solid. Listen, Hull aside, it wasn't great. It wasn't good. It was bad. But that was in that defensive unit of Dodd, Ritson and Hopewati on that side. But I think here in previous games, there's been absolutely no issue defensively with him. And now it's just a case of he's not scoring tries at the moment, so he can be the latest man to jump on the back of.
Well, two things. It was Bennison on that side.
Yeah.
Rather than Ritson. But he was one of only 4 players to break 100 metres for us against Hull. 3 backs and 1 forward. And I actually think that it's going back to Dodd, because now we're seeing these calls for Dodd to be replaced by Jack Wellsby and play Bennison at full back, and then you've got to make a change on your wing. Listen,
it's not going to happen, is it?
No. You have a look at stuff like that. If you've not got a platform to work off, and I've got the meters here in front of me. John Bennison, 141. You've got Iggy Parsi, the only forward to go over 100 metres at 104. Now, Alex Walmsley and Sione Matauti were close in the 90s. You've got T. Ritson at 106 and Connie at 194. If you've got players who, or your forward pack, aren't making those meters because they're being outplayed by another pack, you're going to find it difficult as a half. I get the criticism of the kicking game that we brought up in Instant Fan Reaction that people still bring up. I get that. And I was having a little think about that. This is why we needed Joey Lussick, because he does bring a kicking game. And you think to when we had Lachlan Coote playing for us, you think of Theo Farge did all them box kicks, I'm going to call them, trying to pin them down. You had Johnny Lomax chiming in when needed, and you had the left foot kicking game that we were told all about Lachlan Coote to complement that. Jack Wellsby has got that game, but doesn't really bring it into play. He's more of a running threat than a kicking threat. So I think when we're trying to compare the likes of Lewis Dodd to other halfbacks, you've got to think that how we've played over the past couple of years and then how we're playing now has started evolving in style. And it's evolving in style from losing Lachlan Coote there to then Christian Wolf going. So there's these little movements that you get and little ideas that come in and little changes in the way that you play that players have got to settle down with. Again, I'll go back to it could take 18 months to get over an Achilles injury. And he was, the past couple of games, before that whole game, we didn't hear any of this because he'd started showing what he can do. You cannot lay the blame for that whole defeat at Lewis Dodd's door.
Oh,
the problem wasn't in the halves. The problem was, as a team, we were out enthused, there was no energy, and there was complacency.
Kicking game-wise, you have to say, I think you're right, they're tactical kicking. He's being told to do that.
Mm-hmm.
Continually do that. Try and force, and obviously keep them pinned back, force the error. I just want to see us change the tactics a little bit and go for an attacking kick and try to be scoring off them. And maybe that's just not one of our strong points in which we've not tried to do it. Unfortunately, we've reached a point in our game where we're predictable. And that makes it easy to defend against on the last. And that's where we need to maybe mix it up a bit. And hopefully we'll see a little bit of that this week.
Yeah, you'd hope that as we go into the second half of the season, that is something we'll start seeing changes. So when teams are defending against us, they don't know what's happening.
Kev?
Yep.
Is this the easy game we want this week?
I don't necessarily think it is the easy game. They've turned, I know Warrington aren't having a good time of it. I've got a mate who rings me up every week, a Warrington fan, lives up in the northeast, and he just moans about Warrington and their attitude and application in the past couple of weeks. He's got them finishing, I think, outside the top 8, even though the second at the minute, I think.
Really?
Yeah, God bless him. He whinges about it non-stop. Just saying that they're not good enough and giving contracts out after 8 to 10 weeks to the likes of Vaughan and Williams was silly. But I digress. I think Castle will be right up for this. They've just put in their best performance of the season against Warrington. They are missing quite a few, like in their squad. They've got Niall Evans missing. They've got Greg Eden, George Lawler, Paul McShane, Danny Richardson, Nathan Massey's dropped out of this squad. But they've got some wily players there in the likes of Gareth Widdop, Jacob Miller, players who can get them round the park. Saints should win this game. Saints should win this game. And really, with the players that each team's got out, you'd argue that Saints should win this game comfortably. However, if we throw in a performance like we did at Hull and Castleford are on their game, it could be another tough night.
With the players that Cass have got out, do we give George Delaney a run this week and maybe rest one of our forwards? Or given we need to be making sure that we're winning, do we go stronger?
There's an argument for and against that you stick with your best team. But I don't think you can keep flogging all your first team players.
Especially with Warrington and Cass next up.
Yeah, exactly. I don't think that you can keep doing it. I don't think you can keep asking them to turn up week after week after week and not take them out every so often and just let them have a bit of a refresh for a week. I wouldn't be against it. I don't think it'll happen though.
If there is a game to be resting anyone, you'd probably have to say this is the week to do it, because obviously our next games are Warrington away, Catalan at home, semi-final, Leeds at home, Salford away, potential cup final, Hull KR after that. There isn't until between now and when we play Castleford again at the end of August, they're all going to be tough games.
Yeah, they are. So it possibly is. You'll have your hand forced as well by injury and suspension, where you've got to bring players in. So it might be that we get to a semi-final and you are playing George Delaney and you are bringing Sam Royal in and you are playing Ben Davis, or John Bennison has to stay out there. I mean, John Bennison doesn't necessarily do anything wrong, as we keep saying, but he has to stay out there because Tommy Makinson has come back, but T. Ritson's given weeks off because of his knee. You know what happens. Or Jack Wellsby picks up a knock, or HIA protocol comes in. So you will have these issues brought in. To me, it would be a good week to maybe have one or two changes, nothing too drastic. But I don't see it happening.
Great prediction, Kev.
If Saints turn up as they should, Saints by 24. If
Saints turn up like they did at Hull,
then we're in for a tough night.
Okay, I'll go Saints by 32.
And if Saints turn up like they did at Hull,
Castleford by 32.
You won't put it past them though.
Listen, if Saints put in the performance like they did last week on Thursday night, they wouldn't beat anyone in this league, including Wakefield.
Yeah, I think they'd struggle, wouldn't they?
Yeah. Right. Okay. Moving on. St. Helens Community Development Foundation, in partnership with St. Helens Mind, will be taking on a sponsored walk ahead of next week's game against Warrington. The walk begins at the Totally Wicked Stadium at 2:30, with a lap around the pitch before participants start their venture together towards the Halliwell Jones Stadium. Oh, Kev, it's a shame they can't make you do a lap around Warrington's ground so they can all throw rotten veg at you. And that reveals Kev is doing the walk.
I am indeed, yes. I am indeed. Looking forward to it, to be fair. Looking forward to it.
Kev, you have provided the details on our Twitter page for people who wish to sponsor you. We will put the details below this video on the YouTube channel and on the Redvee site as well. If you can spare some money for Kevin, then it will be greatly appreciated. It means I'm going to have to drive on my own, Kev.
Well, at least it's not Hull.
Yes, at least it's not Hull. What, for me driving to Hull on my own, or you having to walk there?
Yeah, to be fair, I've done charity walks in the past, and I wouldn't fancy walking to Hull in a day, especially setting out at 2:30. Although it might be quicker than some of them trips over to the MKM that we've had recently.
The Community Development Foundation at the club, Kev, always doing great work, both around the club and in the community. You'd only have to look at the amount of activity that goes on during the week. I think if you go down to the stadium any night of the week, there's generally something going on, whether it be in all the young girls and boys cheerleading, dancing going on, all the activities that can get provided throughout half term, either rugby camps or cheer camps, the cafe that they put on for the older generation, and another great charity in mind as well, Kev.
Yeah, exactly right. They're a good link to the community, aren't they? And they're always busy, as you say. There's always something going on with them. And this is such a simple idea, but it's worthwhile. It's a nice little walk over, well, say a little 9 miles over to Warrington for a good cause, for something that is kind of quite prevalent at the moment with everything going on in the world, with the cost of living crisis, with just everything. Having a local charity, or two local charities, the Community Development Foundation and Mind, they're both worthy. You don't know when you're going to need the likes of Mind. Listen, if you can support me in any way, I'd be more than grateful. And yeah, it should be good. It should be good. It's also I put it on our Facebook as well earlier, so you can find it on our Facebook and our Twitter. The link, and make sure you choose referred by Kevin Pender, please.
Yeah, because we wouldn't like Kevin to go penniless, would we, Kevin?
Exactly.
For nothing, while everyone else is putting the money in, you're just putting the hard yards in. But Kevin, I can reveal that you will not be doing the walk penniless, because I have donated £10 to you.
Thank you very much, David. Thank you very much. Don't forget a bottle of water, a Mars bar, and your sun cream. But yeah, I'll need the sun cream for this bit, definitely. I might take a hat as well.
Yes, because Kevin might arrive at Warrington looking a little bit like a tomato.
Yes. Can I get a Mars Duo? Is that allowed?
You're going to burn it off.
Yeah, fair enough.
So yeah, donate to Kev. Tell you what, Kev, me giving £10 to charity, opening the wallet up is a big thing. And don't forget to gift aid as well. So Kevin, you've actually got £11.50.
Thank you very much. Thank you. I do appreciate it. And as I say, I appreciate anyone who can, even if they just send a little message of encouragement. If you can't donate, then even that, just giving us a little shout out is great.
Or a retweet of your post.
Or a retweet of my post. Or a share on Facebook.
I think they usually say, when you're trying to raise money, a retweet is usually worth like a set amount of money, because obviously the amount of people who will see it and then donate. So yeah, even if you can't afford to donate, don't worry. But if you can, £5, anything you can will be gratefully received by Mind and the foundation. Right, we will probably clip that segment and just copy it back into next week's show as well.
Just change the background.
Yeah. Right, I will see you Friday, and we will return with an instant reaction, hopefully with better news. I tell you what, Kev, just before we go, we did 2 videos back to back with Hull on the channel. So anybody looking at the channel will see this. The video where we beat Hull got 3,200.
Yeah.
And the video where we lost has currently got 3,700, with 5 days less viewing. Whether that's Saints fans liking to see people have a moan, or Hull fans coming on to us saying, give us credit against your bang average team because we've beat you for the first time in 17. Really? Don't live on it. It's like not a cup final.
Yeah, well, the thing is, we always do mention the other team, especially when we get beat. We will always mention the other team. But this is a biased Saints fan account, and I don't care about Hull or anybody else.
I think people write these comments about give us credit before they've even watched the video.
Yeah.
Watch the video, give us a view, and then you can make a comment.
Yeah, exactly.
There we go. Right. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. We'll see you Friday.